Scotia's headquarters, the second tallest office tower in Toronto, 68 stories high. Across the street and on the left, that's the TD Bank complex. You can see the old facade of the Toronto Stock Exchange right there. And then this white one across the street and on the right, that is First Canada Place. This is the tallest office tower in Toronto. It's the headquarters of the Bank of Montreal. Over 12,000 workers in that one building alone. And that is the tallest office tower in Toronto. So ahead of us, the clock tower of Old City Hall. This is probably my favorite building on the whole tour. So this is what is called a terminating vista. As you look up at Bay Street, your line of sight ends with the clock tower of Old City Hall. So as you look up the street, your line of sight ends with the clock tower and what is called the terminating vista. So for example, Buckingham Palace is the terminating vista of the National Mall in London. The Arc de Triomphe, the terminating vista of the Champs-Élysées. But that was built in 1899, Old City Hall. That clock face is one of the top 20 largest in the world, and those bells up there rang in the new century from 1900. Also a Romanesque-style building, very heavy stonework. All that stonework had to be brought here from New Brunswick. All that stone was brought here from New Brunswick. And that round building just to the left of it, you see it coming now, that is New City Hall. That became our City Hall in 1965. That is where the Rob Ford show takes place every day. So it's a very interesting looking building. City Council actually sits in that UFO-shaped thing in the middle. Many people have tried to figure out what that thing means. So the architect was actually a Finnish guy, a Mr. Ravel, and he died 2 weeks prior to the completion of New City Hall. But the best hypothesis I've heard is that it's meant to resemble an eye from above because the eye is the symbol of democracy in Finland, and he was a Finnish gentleman. But here it is, Old City Hall. You can see the clock tower a little left of center to keep that terminating vista down Bay Street. With the cenotaph out front to Canada's three great wars, 1, 2, and Korea. Very nice old building. I love that building. So, ladies that were asking about the bay, here it is on the right here. This is the bay right here, and stop one is just up the street. So here's the bay. It's now a department store, however, as you can see these brass signs out front, they say Hudson's Bay Company Incorporated 1670. So in regards to Canadian history, this is much more than just a department store. This began its life as a trading company of the British Crown. It's the second oldest corporation in North America. The oldest is Harvard in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And this was a fur trading company of the British Crown. The Hudson's Bay Company Incorporated 1670.
Oh yeah.
So up ahead there, guys, you can see St. Michael's Hospital. There it is on the left. You can see it says the Urban Angel. So in Canada, we have fully socialized healthcare. So if you are a permanent resident or a citizen, you get a health card, and the government of Ontario covers your healthcare. However, the Urban Angel, St. Michael's will treat anybody for free, regardless of if you have a health card or not. They'll treat anybody for free there at the St. Michael's Hospital. This is also where Toronto's premier trauma treatment facility is. There's a helicopter pad right there. So they fly on helicopter right to the trauma center. So that's Church Street up ahead of us. We're about to turn left on Bond and head parallel to Church. There's 3 cathedrals on Church Street. St. James is one of them, the one that we saw before, that the bells are ringing on. And here are the other 2. So this one on your right, the second of the 3, that is Metropolitan United Cathedral right there. They have a pretty impressive pipe organ, pipes as large as this bus to as small as my pinky, played with 5 keyboards. And then the one in front of that, that is St. Michael's. That is the Catholic Cathedral. St. Michael's was built 1848. When it was completed, Toronto's Catholic community wrote to the Pope complaining that St. Michael's was too far outside the city limits and they had to walk through a forest to get to Mass. So 1848, that church was very far outside the limits. Oh my God. And that's Massey Hall on your left, the building with the fire escapes there. That's the Radio City Music Hall of Toronto. It's no storied concert hall though. That's where Neil Young recorded his awesome Live at Massey. So across the street from us, the Toronto Eaton Centre. We're going to turn right on Yonge and head parallel to the Eaton Centre. So the Eaton Centre, it's the largest urban mall in Canada. So large that there's a subway stop at each end, Queen to Dundas, if you don't feel like walking the length of the mall. So about 240 stores in there. They're segregated by price, guys. So the cheapies are in the basement where I hang out, and then as you move up the floors, they slowly get more expensive. Huh. What an interesting place to stop. So yes, the Eaton Centre. All big stores are in there. These are so big that they have to keep it open 24/7. The stores obviously closed, but they have to keep the hallways open. It takes up so much space that it's just unreasonable to expect people to walk around it. So they have to keep it open all night so people can cut through. I think it took like 8 square city blocks off the map or something when they built it. It's a really, really massive mall. So pulling up to stop number 1 now. This is where the tour resets. Shannon's going to come up. I'm going to go down. Thanks for listening, ladies and gents. Hope you learned a few things. Here we are coming up to stop 1, Yonge and Dundas Square, the Times Square of Canada, to rent one of those billboards, about $36,000 a month.
Chandra, are we doing it here?
Alright, if you guys want to get off, you can do it now. We're going to be leaving in about